Good evening. I welcome you to the second edition of News Tonight. My name is Michael Jordan Lukomwa. Elizabeth Nakakoni joins us for sign language interpretation. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has today met with a delegation from Azerbaijan led by the Special Envoy and Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs Yalchin Rafiev. In the meeting held at State House in Entebbe, the Azerbaijan delegation briefed the president about the preparations for the forthcoming Non-Aligned Movement Summit. Uganda will host the 19th Non-Aligned Movement Heads of State and Government Summit, a forum of 120 member states from 15th to the 20th of January 2024, where President Museveni will take over from Azerbaijan President Ilham Aliyev to lead the second biggest group of countries after the United Nations. The meeting was attended by Uganda's ambassador and permanent representative to the United Nations, Adonia Ayebare, among other officials. Simon Mundei, the immigration spokesperson, has stated that all officers operating on the borders between Uganda and Congo have been informed about the lifting of visa requirements for travelers within the two countries. This will enable Congolese to easily cross into Uganda and the vice versa, facilitating smooth operations. As Ivan Kahwa reports, the visa requirement is set to end this year. We have details to this.
Effective January 1st, 2024, Ugandans and Congolese will enjoy unrestricted movement between the two nations without visa charges or requirements. Immigration spokesperson Simon Mundei says this will facilitate flow of people, goods and services across border points and reflects the joint resolution of Uganda and Congo to reciprocate the principle of unrestricted movement.
So following the above agreement, Cabinet Minute 374 2023 considered the matter, and it was resolved to remove the visa requirement for Ugandan and Congolese nationals to enter and exit the Democratic Republic of Congo and Republic of Uganda respectively. So the Ministry of Internal Affairs is now ready to implement this directive, of course starting 1st of January 2024. We have made the communications to all our border points across that entire stretch of Congo and Uganda, and we expect that the directive will be put in action.
Meanwhile, all delegates accredited for the Non-Aligned Movement and the G77 plus China summits will be exempted from paying visas to enter Uganda during these events, while those not accredited but accompanying guests are required to apply for visa.
And as the ministry, we are very ready for the guests. We shall serve them with a smile. We have boosted numbers of immigration officers. All the newly appointed immigration officers, 57 in number, have been deployed at the airport to boost the numbers of staff handling.
Related to the Christmas and New Year festivities, the police have strategically deployed in key areas to patrol, foil and prevent crime.
The visibility that you see and other road policing measures, including snap checks, stop and search operations, are only a small part of the comprehensive security measures that we've put in place.
The police advocate for enhanced security protocols in homes, emphasizing awareness of moving patterns, proper supervision of children, and the adoption of technologies such as CCTV surveillance.
The tips on shopping, on shopping we encourage people to limit the amount of cash they carry, and we encourage more of cashless transactions, and being aware of surroundings. Shopping in places where security is guaranteed is very crucial during this period. Parking in well-lit areas, storing valuables out of sight.
The Joint Task Security teams have recovered 11 guns stolen from various sources, including police stations, security private companies, UPDF and individuals holding firearms illegally. Among the recovered guns are 2 guns linked to the attack on Nekesa Babra Oundo, the NRM National Treasurer, accompanied by 60 bullets and 2 unused magazines. Ivan Kahwa and Dan Lugemwa, UBC News.
Speaker of Parliament Anita Among has handed over 5 new cars to former Speakers of Parliament, including Professor Edward Rugumayo, Francis Butajira, Alhaji Moses Chigongo and Edward Chiwanuka Sekandi. The cars cost 2.5 billion Uganda shillings, each costing 700 million Uganda shillings. Speaker says that Parliament will cater for the fueling of these cars, their maintenance and salaries for their drivers.
Professor Edward Rugumayo, who was the Speaker of Parliament from 1979 to 1980 after the ousting of Idi Amin Dada, Francis Butajira, who served as Chairman of the National Assembly in the 4th Parliament from 1980 to 1985, Alhaji Moses Chigongo, who served in the 5th Parliament as the Vice Chairman of National Resistance Council from 1980 to 1996, Edward Chiwanuka Sekandi, served from 2001 to 2011. These are former Speakers of Parliament who have been gifted with brand new cars. The Speaker Anita Among presented these cars to them in a ceremony that was held at Parliament.
The Parliamentary Commission is also extending the same benefits, but limited to the monetary terms, to the former speakers and deputy speakers who either died in office or in retirement. We are providing them those benefits. I know that all of you are living in all of you, the living speakers and deputy speakers, are already getting your monetary benefits from the Parliamentary Commission.
According to the Speaker, fueling of these cars, maintenance, salaries of the drivers will be covered by Parliament, announcing also that these former speakers will be provided with brand new cars every after 5 years.
Feel free when you want to come over. When you see that there is something wrong that we are doing that needs to be corrected, we are always open to any advice.
Rebecca Kadaga, though absent, her car was also present.
But as Parliament of Uganda, 11th Parliament of Uganda, we thought it wise to appreciate you when you're still alive. And I want to thank the members of Parliament who felt and thought it wise that we must appreciate you. So we are supposed to look after you as per the Act, and we are doing this because of the Act.
You see, it's not really for us, but to recognize that we made some contribution to this country speaks a lot of volume, because the country is like a stage. We play our part and go. But to be forgotten is a terrible thing.
Among other benefits that a former speaker gets include annual housing allowance of 300 million shillings, a monthly pension of shillings 6.7 million, 6.4 million annually for medical treatment, 2 security guards all paid shillings 1.1 million per month, a senior personal secretary paid shillings 10.8 million annually, among others. Shamim Naiga and Gloria Gutabinji, UBC News.
Relevant parties expected to take part in the January 2024 non-aligned movement and G77 plus China summits have been on test practice for the arrival of dignitaries expected to start arriving in Uganda by the 7th of January 2024. The test practice at Entebbe Airport focused mainly on the reception of protocols of the heads of state and delegations who include presidents, vice presidents, among others.
Over the weekend, government of Uganda conducted a practice focusing on the arrival of dignitaries for the 2024 non-aligned movement and G77 plus China summits.
We are told that the first head of state will arrive on commercial and he will disembark with 4 people. So in our assumption is that the 4 people are the main, these are the ones that form the main presidential delegation.
It is an 18th in terms of heads of delegations who are not heads of state and special case, plus other delegates who are coming with heads of state are going to be using the commercial terminal. It's very important that we ask ourselves, suppose 5, 6 vice presidents have arrived as asked, we have the facilities here in the commercial terminal.
Before the mock-up, the team led by the summit's National Organizing Committee chairperson, Lucy Nachobe, convened for a pre-planning session at Entebbe. In this meeting, key focus was about receiving heads of delegations.
Usually airlines will not allow anyone to go in to receive the head of state. What we will require the protocol official who is coming to meet the person is that they stand with the station manager at the door. So the crew will be alerted that he's the one who comes out first.
We tend to really delay presidents waiting for luggages, even the ones that come with private jets. Can we have a process where really the president leaves the airport?
We expect in the range of 10 to 12 minutes to process a VIP from here to the other terminal, including if we minimize the number of people that are in the receiving line.
Shortly after the meeting, the first scenario was a flight carrying the President of the Republic Codes, the African Union, who arrived at Entebbe Airport at 12:34 a.m. on Sunday on a commercial flight. At the terminal, the President was received together with his delegates by Uganda's cabinet minister. He was later driven to the old airport where he was received by a cabinet minister, the CDF, IGP and Commissioner General of Uganda Prisons. The African Union President was accorded a guard of honor before being ushered into the VVIP wing as he waited for the clearance. After a clearing process which lasted for almost only 20 minutes, the head of delegation was sent off to speak Hotel Munyonyo for a night.
This is a simulation of what exactly will be the true story come 18th January 2024 here at Entebbe Airport, when Uganda will be receiving heads of government and dignitaries.
Along Entebbe Munyonyo Highway, both police and UPDF was deployed to offer maximum security for the summit activities. At Speak Hotel Munyonyo, there was another team led by a cabinet minister to usher in the head of state and his team. Having received only 60% out of 100, the participating teams including Foreign Affairs Ministry, Civil Aviation Authority, Police, SFC, Media among others, reconvened on the morning of Sunday 17th December 2023 to assess the previous exercise.
Madam Chair, while at VVIP, the head of state was ushered in through the normal procedures we had agreed on, the ceremonies, the street guard, and was ushered in the launch. And thereafter, the convoy was organized and transferred to Munyonyo.
The preview meeting was chaired by the bitter, non-compromised and result-oriented Lucy Nachobe.
What do you understand by a dry run? Madam, we understood the principle of the dry run.
The meeting focused on correcting the previous mistakes, which among others included slow flow of information among coordinators, poor timekeeping, among others. Robert Nyango, UPC News.
Algeria's new ambassador to Uganda, Mohamed Khalifi, has revealed that his government is committed to strengthen and consolidate bilateral relations with Uganda and increase the number of scholarships to Ugandan students. He disclosed this at the Algeria-Uganda Alumni Association meeting in Kampala.
They are most interested in.
The association started in 2010 and has more than 500 members who are Ugandans who previously graduated in Algeria, and many of these are established businessmen, doctors, pharmacists, and economists in the country.
I learned here with a bachelor's in statistical engineering. And whoever I interfaced with, no one knew the thing. The thing looked very abstract. It was neither purely statistics, neither purely computer science.
For me, it went to the worst. I even had to sell my house, my first home. to invest in the same.
When you are starting, no one is willing to give you credit actually. They would tell you we want at least a statement of at least 6 months of your account. I didn't have account. I didn't even own a personal account.
As an industry, I came back from Algeria in 2015. Thanks to the Uganda government, I came back with $900. I invested all of it in the music.
Officiating at the engagement ceremony, Ambassador Muhammad Khalifi said Algeria's Minister for Education confirmed to his availability to promote bilateral relations in the higher education field.
So believe me, we consider you as ambassadors of Algeria, and we are expecting from you to contribute in the promotion of and the consideration of our bilateral relationships. And I will work to increase more and more the number of scholarships given to.
The keynote speaker, also Makerere University's Professor Augustus Nwagawa, advised the alumni members to always grab opportunities that come their way.
You go to these countries, you normally come and you don't practice what those countries have done. When we are here and we go to those countries, we are the ones who normally show the highest level of competence in terms of academics and also in terms of things we do.
Nwagawa further asked the alumni to build social capital to become relevant in community development.
Just making sure that what you are doing is good for yourself, is good for your community, is good for the country. The reason why you are remaining as you are, and the reason why some of you came and are different, they were here telling you what they were telling us, is simply that. There is nothing magic. God didn't make them different.
The chairperson of the Algeria Alumni Association, Musa Nasaga, decried the unfavorable admission conditions in Uganda, saying they studied for many years but their papers are reduced to fit only bachelor's degree.
There are those that do European system 3 years, then plus 5 years, you get masters. When they come here, somehow they are denied. If they have done 3 years and 2 years, they are denied to get masters. When in actual sense, I'm told even in Europe, those with European qualifications, when they come back, they are considered. Yet in Algeria, they are not. So that a bit brings unfairness, which makes the people, or forces people, which discourages them.
Earlier on, Ambassador Muhammad met President Museveni and presented to him his credentials. I'm Ivan Juko for UBC.
The International Crimes Division Court has charged the former LRA commander Thomas Koyelo with 78 out of the 93 counts. Koyelo, who has been in court for the last 13 years and on remand since 2009, was arrested by UPDF from the Democratic Republic of Congo. The 93 counts included war crimes and crime against humanity related to sexual violence, murder, kidnap, pillaging, and also enslaving and torture.
During a court session presided over by Justice from the International Crime Division Court in Gulu, the former Lord Resistance Army commander, Thomas Koyelo, has been charged with 74 counts.
Uganda is the prosecutor versus Thomas Koyelo alias Latom that used in this case.
In 2009, Koyelo was arrested by UPDF from Garamba Forest in Democratic Republic of Congo and charged with 93 counts. These include war crime and crimes against humanity, related sexual violence, murder, kidnap, and also enslavement to torture.
Exceptional count 46 with the repetition of count 45. The accused has a case to answer in respect of the remaining 78 counts. So that he shall be pushed to his defense on those counts.
After the ruling, Koyelo lawyers asked to be given time to consult their clients.
So the accused has requested us that we get the ruling, copy of the ruling, we get a copy of the charge sheet, we sit down with him, we go through those 78 charges, and we also remember some of these things which took place in court, and we also guide him on where he has not remembered.
The Public Relations Officer, Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, Jacqueline Okwi, says it is the first time DPP is undertaking a high-level case in Uganda.
This morning, the High Court, the International Crimes Division, has ruled that 78 charges out of 93 charges had sufficient evidence and therefore put Koyelo Thomas on his defense in respect to these 78 charges, meaning that the prosecution was able to adduce substantial evidence to prove to the required standard these 78 charges.
Jacqueline also added that the 15 lost cases out of 93 were because of few challenges the prosecutions had encountered during the process, which took more than 10 years.
And this was because a number of our witnesses died, some of them relocated. You know, at the time that this case was investigated, most of the victims or witnesses were in IDP camps. So by the time the case came up for trial, these victims and witnesses had relocated. So it became very difficult to get them to come and testify in court. We also had the challenge of some of the witnesses losing their memories, and then others, by the time of the hearing of the case, they were of advanced stage and they couldn't really come to testify in court.
In 2009, Koyelo has been charged with sexual violence, murder, hostage-taking, and kidnapping, robbery, among others, allegedly committed between 1993 and 2005 in Pabo Sub-County, Amoro District.
Meet Stone Atwine, the co-founder of Eversend, a startup that is building financial technology from Uganda to the world. From currency exchange to business banking, Stone and his team are doing it all. Stone embodies the grit and the commitment to take a startup from nothing to something. Stone, keep building. You are unstoppable. MTN, the Unstoppable Network, celebrates you. Download the Eversend app or visit eversend.com, and together, let's support Ugandans like Stone who are driving our country's unstoppable progress.
Metu Bus Industries, Namamve, the manufacturers of buses for transporters, schools, tour operators, and special purpose vans and any customized vehicle. Metu Bus Industries offers a range of buses known for safety, comfort, and reliability. Depending on your needs, a bus can simply be a point A to point B people mover with just seats, or a special design that includes power outlet, Wi-Fi, television, refreshment center, and any other specification. Buy your buses from Metu and support industrialization of Uganda. Contact us on 0788 118586 or 0782 030303. Email us metuafricabus@gmail.com. Visit our website www.metubusafrica.com.
UBC News Tonight. Welcome back from the break. Uganda Muslim Supreme Council Secretary General Haj Abbas Malubya Sechanzi has told the media that Deputy Mufti Sheikh Mohammed Abdallah Semambo will undergo disciplinary proceedings due to allegations of falsely presenting himself as now the Mufti of Uganda. This was at a press conference at the Uganda Muslim Supreme Council in Kampala.
The swearing in of the Deputy Mufti of Uganda Muslim Supreme Council, Sheikh Mohammed Abdallah Semambo, have taken a different turn, with Uganda Muslim Supreme Council Secretary General Haj Abbas Malubya Sechanzi telling the media that Sheikh Mohammed Abdallah Semambo will face disciplinary action.
Has been appointed is someone who works here or has been working here, and we cannot really speak for him. The rules of the council are very clear in the constitution, and if someone who stands up and upholds the constitution with the Quran and swears to uphold that very constitution goes against it, the same constitution has the mechanisms of dealing with that. We'll leave it at that, and the constitution will deal with it.
Uganda Muslim Supreme Council says they are closely monitoring the situation where Sheikh Semambo has positioned himself as Mufti without proper authorization.
Read the constitution and see the powers of General Assembly. Yes, they have powers to remove, to dismiss, to discipline, but who do they have the powers? It is to the members of the General Assembly. That's according to the constitution that I'm holding here.
The Uganda Muslim Supreme Council constitution states that any impeachment proceedings against the Mufti must be initiated through a written petition in triplicate signed by at least 1/3 of the members in a joint session.
Raised by the members of joint session, that is Majlis al-Ulama and executive. For case of Mufti, you submit it to chairman through his secretary. All this process has not taken place.
Haj Abbas Malubya Sechanzi, the Secretary General of the Uganda Muslim Supreme Council, asserts that the perpetrated Special General Assembly of the Council employed incorrect procedures in the impeachment process of Mufti Shaban Mubaje.
The meeting was a result of a court order, which court order we have challenged because of the ultra-vires processes that were involved in its issuance. First of all, the persons who petitioned this court were admitted by virtue of Article 1, Section 2 of the Constitution of Uganda Muslim Supreme Council. It is strange that the order was issued without considering Article 17 of the same Constitution of the Uganda Muslim Supreme Council, which stipulates processes of convening an ordinary and an extraordinary General Assembly.
But in the earlier processes, members of the Assembly, together with the executive members, claim Mufti Shaban Mubaje needed to step aside to pave way for an investigation into the sale of Muslim property.
A petition to put aside His Eminence the Mufti of Uganda, Sheikh Ramadan Mubaje, because of the magnitude of problems we faced, financial mismanagement, and then even management of the council itself. So enough is enough. Muslims have become a laughing stock. We say let him be put aside, pending investigations to be proven guilty.
I'd like to inform everyone that the resolutions of the said meeting are not valid, and we are not considering them as anything of concern at the council. The council is open, officers are working, everyone is happy. His Eminence, the Mufti of Uganda, Dr. Sheikh Shaban Ramadan Mubaje, is in office. He's working, and there are no preparations whatsoever to have anyone else in this office.
The Special General Assembly of the Uganda Muslim Supreme Council officially installed Deputy Mufti Muhammad Abdallah Semambo as the acting Mufti of Uganda on Sunday, December 17, 2023.
Inquiries are ongoing in the murder case of UK nationals against ADF commander Choto Rashid in Queen Elizabeth National Park. The case is at Nakawa Magistrates Court. Meanwhile, the same court has set the 8th of January 2024 to proceed with the case where 3 people are accused of murdering businessman Henry Katanga.
The accused person in the murder case of UK nationals at Queen Elizabeth National Park, also Commander Allied Democratic Forces Choto Rashid alias Njovu, has appeared at Nakawa Magistrates Court in Kampala. Njovu is accused of murdering a couple, Barrow David James, Gary Menetia Cecilia, and a tour guide Eric Arai, robbing them of belongings, travel documents and national identifications. Court presided over by Chief Magistrate Elias Kakoza. Prosecution summary called told court that inquiries into the case are still ongoing. Magistrate Elias Kakoza adjourned the case to 8th January 2024, when it will come up for mention. Choto Rashid alias Njovu was further remanded. A 31-year-old Choto Rashid alias Njovu was a resident of Domain Camp in Mwaraki in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Meanwhile, defense legal team has expressed concern over the change of prosecutors in the murder case of businessman Henry Katanga whenever the case resumes. When the case came up for mention, prosecution summary told court that she's not set to proceed with the case since she's new.
It's only this morning that I was available to get fired. I am yet to know who has been charged with what. So, as a state, we are not in a position to handle any bail application this morning.
The murder case of businessman Henry Katanga is against Kwenza Patricia, aged 32 years, Otai Charis, aged 31 years, and Amongiro George, aged 30 years. During the last court sitting, court issued criminal summons against Nkwanza Martha Katanga, daughter to Katanga, and Katanga Mole, wife to the deceased Henry Katanga, to appear in court. Magistrate Elias Kakoza adjourned the case to 8th January 2024 for mention. Businessman Henry Katanga was shot dead on 2nd November 2023 at Imbuya Chwatu Road, Nakawa Division, Kampala District. Deborah Namamonde, UBC News.
Haibale Primary School in Hoima District has received 200 iron sheets from the Ministry of Bunyoro Affairs. The roof was blown off by heavy storms 15 years ago, leaving the pupils and teachers exposed to harsh rain and sunshine.
For 15 years, the pupils of Haibale Primary School endured the scorching sun, the heavy rain and the cold weather and wind after their classrooms were blown off by a heavy storm in 2011.
Some 15 years ago, that wall is a very strong wall. If it can stay under rain, sunshine for 15 years, it is a very strong wall. And those days, the idea of having ring beam was not so common.
Minister of State for Bunyoro Affairs Jennifer Namyangu has delivered the roofing materials to Haibale Primary School and reiterated government's commitment in improving the learning environment in the Bunyoro sub-region.
This is 200 pieces of iron sheets from the Ministry of Disaster Preparedness, Refugees and Relief. We have already handed them over, and I believe that the stakeholders will take good care of them, replace the, reinstate the building, so that by the time the learners come back, they are able to find a good shelter and a nice environment for them to study.
The head teacher of the school, Julius Irumbai, said that the poor infrastructure had caused many pupils to drop out of school.
But during the first term, we had started with 816, but some children have been dropping out, and we have tried to mobilize the community to bring those children back to school.
He thanked the ministry for the support in improving the learning environment and retention of the pupils.
The enrollment is going to increase. That's what I know, and that is going to reduce the congestion in the classroom. and so that children are going to have the conducive learning environment.
Hoima Deputy Resident District Commissioner Michael Chashakari warned the beneficiaries against misusing the iron sheets.
Please go and use these iron sheets for at least those the purpose you have been given them for. Don't go and sell these iron sheets, because there might be some members. I believe the chairperson of the management committee is here. You are the one. You are the one. So make sure these iron sheets do the purpose for which you have been given.
I'm Nafka Farida and Joseph Okow.
Egypt is one of the ancient civilizations that house some religious historical sites which explain the origins of Christianity. As Christians prepare to celebrate the birth of Jesus, UBC visited some of the sites in Egypt, including Mount Sinai, the burning bush, and the hanging church. Daniel Mugoya has this in detail.
In a remote valley on the Sinai Peninsula is a small Christian monastery that has withstood time and history since 565 AD. It is the oldest working monastery in the world, filled with hidden treasures. Pilgrims and tourists around the world visit St. Catherine's Monastery, and some also climb nearby Jebel Musa, the traditional Mount Sinai. The travelers, including scholars and theologians, visit such places to relate with the cultural and biblical history. During the visit, one is taken through by a tour guide who is registered under the home guiding regulations.
Everybody would wish to emulate what Moses did on this earth, because he was such a man who trusted God, and God also trusted him. So I believe if I follow his footsteps, I'll trust in the Lord, and the Lord will trust in me. Thank you.
Is this okay? It's getting heavy. It's going to be heavy.
This one, yeah.
I traveled with Africa One Tours and Travel Limited from Uganda with about 30 Ugandans to visit the holy sites in Egypt and Israel. Mount Sinai is where Moses received the 10 commandments from God and established the covenant between God and the Israelites. This group of pilgrims climbed Mountain Sinai, which in the book of Exodus, God instructed Moses to build the Ark of the Covenant. Mount Sinai is surrounded by some of the most breathtaking natural landscapes, rugged mountains which rise up in a dramatic glory. While hiking Mount Sinai, the travelers carry a flashlight for navigation in case it gets dark.
Truthfully, the body fails because of the height, but it's spiritually edifying and quite encouraging to reach the peak, because we have different purposes as to why we're here. We need to live this long dream.
Despite spiritual information, climbing Mountain Sinai remains an adventure, an opportunity to learn about the past while enjoying impressive rocks.
I knew very well that I was to reach the top of the Sinai, despite of my disability, because I broke my hip, I have metals. When I started the journey, it was okay. I was moving very fast. Reaching somewhere, I found myself going back, but I was not giving up.
Really, at first I feared when I started climbing. But when I reached the middle, I got the courage to climb.
I had in me that resilience that I must climb. I even had older people than me who managed to climb. So I said, if they can, then I can.
In the valley of Mount Sinai situates the burning bush, which was given a special treatment preserved as a religious site with millions of tourists flocking in to relate with historical faith.
But you have to know who built this monastery? Saint Helena. You know Saint Helena? Constantine, the mother of... Yes, she ordered to build this one. All right? This one, it has the second biggest library, theological library, all over the world. The first one, of course, Vatican. This is the second biggest one. Now, this door was made later on when Napoleon came to Egypt. He came to Egypt 1798. He made this door only. Before, they go inside and outside through this, wooden windows.
The burning bush is an object described by the book of Exodus, being located on the outskirts of Mount Horeb, also known as Mount Sinai. The bush was on fire, but was not consumed by the flames. The story of Moses and the burning bush is a biblical episode in the Old Testament where God reveals his name to Moses. When Moses beholds the burning bush, God tells him to lead the Israelites out of Egypt and into the promised land, Canaan.
So Moses thought, I will go over and see this strange sight, why the bush does not burn up. When the Lord saw that he had gone over to look, God called him from within the bush, Moses, Moses. And Moses said, here I am, do not come any closer. God said, take off your sandals, for the place where you're standing is holy ground. Then he said, I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob.
St. Catherine's Monastery also encompasses the Well of Moses, also known as the Well of Jethro, where Moses is said to have met his future wife, Zipporah. As recounted in Exodus, the well is still one of the monastery's main sources of water. In Old Cairo, also known as Coptic Cairo, exist historical churches including the Hanging Church. It was named the Hanging Church because it was built on two ancient towers of the Roman fort, Babylonian fortress, which was built by Emperor Trajan in the 2nd century AD. It is one of the oldest serving churches in Egypt.
Okay, no, don't step on this.
The roof of the church is shaped in an inverted shape, based on 7 pillars, which represents the survivors with Noah during the biblical flood.
Made out of wood, representing Noah's Ark. Why? Because Noah's Ark saved the people to live, and the church would save us to live.
The pulpit is based on 15 pillars. The first pillar in the front refers to Jesus. Then the 2 pillars that are attached to the body of the pulpit represent the saints, Mark and Luke, and other 12 pillars represent the 12 disciples. The church was built on the ruins of a place where the Holy Family, including the Virgin Mary, Jesus as a child, and Joseph the carpenter, were hiding during the 3 months they spent in Egypt as they fled for safety from Herod, the ruler of Palestine. It is also the location of a chapel where a nun lived in one of the rocky canyons dug in the place. This nun is Saint Damiana, who was the daughter of the governor of El Brulas, El Zafaran, and Wadi al-Seisaban districts in the northern part of the Nile Delta in Egypt. Most of the Christians who are in Cairo live in Coptic Quarter. The attractions of the Coptic Quarter are the Church of St. George and the Church of St. Sergius. The most famous tourist destination in the Coptic Quarter in Cairo is the Hanging Church. It is the oldest Coptic monument in Coptic Cairo. Daniel Mugoya, UBC News in Egypt.
With the story from the Holy Land, we'll take a short break. On return, we'll have business news. Thank you so much for watching.
Meet Stone Atwine, the co-founder of Eversend, a startup that is building financial technology from Uganda to the world. From currency exchange to business banking, Stone and his team are doing it all. Stone embodies the grit and the commitment to take a startup from nothing to something. Stone, keep building. You are unstoppable. MTN, the Unstoppable Network, celebrates you. Download the Eversend app or visit eversend.com, and together, let's support Ugandans like Stone who are driving our country's unstoppable progress.
Wait, Titus, you need to take your medicine.
But Mom, they are playing without me.
Here, swallow your medicine fast. I don't want you to get another headache from that infection.
Medicines help us feel better when we are ill, but sometimes they can cause side effects. By reporting side effects, you help us learn about the medicine we use. This improves quality of care for each patient. Always report suspected side effects to NDA. Together, we can make medicines safer for everyone. This message is brought to you by National Drug Authority with support from Global Fund.
(1950s) and early 1960s non-aligned movement. The countries of the non-aligned movement represent nearly 2/3 of the United Nations members and contain 55% of the world's population. Membership is particularly concentrated in countries considered to be developing countries, although the non-aligned movement also has a number of developed countries gained the most traction in 1950s and early 1960s when the international policy of non-alignment achieved major success in decolonization disarmament.
Taxi operators under the umbrella body of the Uganda Taxi Operators Federation want to meet officials from the Ministry of Transport to have consensus on the fares to be charged during the Christmas season.
The chairman, Uganda Taxi Operators Federation Rashid Sekandi, said that the slight increase in transport fares during the festive season comes as a result of high prices of fuel and lack of passengers coming back to Kampala from rural areas. Taxi operators will come up with the official fares chart to be communicated to the public after the meeting with the Minister of Transport on Wednesday 20th.
Nze tumanyi ezijja okwongezaamu konadala nga Masaka babadde ku mitwalo 2, oyinza okuzisanga ng'eri ku mitwalo 2 n'ekitundu. Mbalala babadde ku 3, oyinza okwesanga bongeddemu omutwalo. Mbale ku ssente eza bulijjo bajja kwongeramu 5,000. So naye ebisale bino nga bwe tubyogedde tujja bikakasa olunaku lw'okusatu nga tusinkanye minisitule y'ebyentambula tusheyalinge nayo okulabika nti ebikkiriza kubanga bibakama baffe tulina okuba nga tutambulira ku kwejjenga.
Taxi operators at various stages in Kampala anticipate a slight increase in fares to upcountry to allow drivers to recover operating costs because there will be no passengers returning to Kampala during the Christmas holidays.
Serabina amafuta galinnyemu ate ekirala katusaabaza abantu bagenda mu nnaku nkulu tetuli beetefutefu kwongeza bisale naye tuyinza okwongeramu 2,000 oba 3 oba 5 olw'ensonga y'amafuta ate bwe tugenda gye tulaze tudda tuli beereere.
Meanwhile, a dispute has erupted between Chireka Twezimbe Taxi Drivers and Conductors Association and Chireka Drivers and Conductors Agali Awamu Association over the management of Chireka Tax Park, with each side accusing the other of discrimination and harassment.
They threatened that they are coming to attack us at our work, which we are not going to allow, and they should stop what they are doing. For us, we are members of NUTCO, and we are members. Therefore, anything concerning our work, they should first of all consult NUTCO, because for us we are members of NUTCO.
The clash over the management of the Chireka Tax Park has attracted the intervention of the National Union of Drivers, Cyclists and Allied Workers and Uganda Tax Operators Federation to resolve the matter.
Obuzibu buva ku ki? Ne batulaga nti abakulembeze ba stage babataddeko olutalo ng'ate abamu badriver baawo bakadde nga kuliko ne bafawunda ba stage eyo bebekyusiza ne babagoba kubanga tebaagala muntu ayogera ku bya accountability ku stage n'entambuza y'emirimu ne tugamba no eyo ensonga y'emu ku buvunaanyizibwa bwe tulina.
Gali awamu which has reported to Ezimbe, to UTOF, condemning that they don't make a report to them, they don't make accountability, they are chasing them from the state. But these are different associations. One is called to Ezimbe and the other is Agali Awamu. So Agali Awamu is reporting to Ezimbe, to UTOF.
Sada Mubale, Clement Wangira, UBC News.
MTN Uganda has partnered with different religious and secular entities to bring the Christmas cheer to their customers this holiday. Christmas is only 6 days away and New Year's is 30 days away.
In the spirit of giving back, MTN Uganda will join several religious and secular events for Christmas and end-of-year celebrations to reach its customers this holiday season.
This 2023 for MTN is not just ending 2023, but it is the year that we celebrate the customer loyalty, we celebrate the support, the journey that MTN has walked with for 25 years. So as our customers are celebrating the end of the year, we join them, we find them where they are, with the people that we trust that we can relate them with. This year, we will join the Catholic community at Mount Zion, Kalambo. In the born-again Christianity, we are very happy. We will pray and thank God from House of Prayer Ministries. We will pray from the Passover Festival, which will be at Chambogo Cricket Grounds. We will also join Pastor Tom Mugero of Mutombe Christian Fellowship. And we will join CBS FM as the Enkoka on the 31st. We will also join Radio 4 and the Baitu Group.
The different partners are delighted to be partnering with MTN Uganda.
And thank you for partnering with Mount Prayer Center in pursuing or taking the word of God to the people. We are proud of you.
We are so humbled to be part of the MTN celebration of 25 years.
At these events, the public will be able to get different offers from MTN.
We will have our devices at all these engagements, at prayer grounds, at festive events in the different locations I've mentioned. We will have our devices. Key leading is the Kabode, which will be at 199,000 for all customers who have cash. We have other device selling partners, Tech Now, which has very good smartphones. They will be sold what we call device financing. Plus our services will also be there, and thank so much the partners for pushing MTN. Without you, would honestly not be as strong as we are.
"49 drivers have confirmed to compete in the final of the 2023 National Rally Championship at Busika Racing Camp come the 26th of this month. Notable names in Ronald Sebuguzi in his Ford Fiesta, Ali Omar driving Mitsubishi F04, Peter Kalule in his Subaru Impreza, Fred Wampamba cruising in a Subaru Impreza, and Yasin Nasser driving a Ford Fiesta. This stands as a fun circuit for the motorsports lovers as the sport tries to revive itself after effects of COVID-19.
Sprint ene esembayo ebeera esooka yeggalawo omwaka ate tubadde mu kkanika mmotoka yaffe.
This is the final sprint of the year. We are testing our new machine ahead of the new season. We believe we will compete favorably.
Nti kyetugenda okukola mu sprint eno kigenda kuba kyamaanyi nnyo okusaka ku tuze tukole mabega wonna.
Emmotoka tetujja kusukka mu mmotoka 50. Kubanga bwe zinayitirira obungi ziyinza okututaataganya mu budde.
There will be 50 cars competing. We are not exceeding the number set to allow favorable competitors compete.
Abere ng'ateekamu entry nga emmotoka we zinaawerera emmotoka 50 bwe ziti nga tusalako.
Sonto agamba nange eno njiwangula.
There has always been stiff competition in these sprints. Everyone comes to win. I believe I'll walk away with victory. It is going to be a tight one come 26th of this month.
N'okweteekako okulaba nga mujjako ate engule eya sprint.
That brings us to the end of all we had for you tonight. Thanking you so much for watching. My name is Michael Jordan Lukoma with Elizabeth Nakakon and the whole team. Merry Christmas and good night.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.